Now, Israel's army has issued new orders to further displace people in southern Gaza, an area that had previously been declared safe. Israel says that it's dividing the entire Gaza Strip into zones to let people know which areas they should be leaving. It's now saying that these districts here, the yellow part here on the map, these districts of Khan Younis, the largest city in the south, remember, will become areas with, quote, heavy fighting. Israel is ordering people to move to 3 camps in these areas in those directions. Now, the wording of the displacement leaflets, because Israel has once again been dropping leaflets over those areas, that wording suggests that the survival of Palestinians is now, after they've been warned by Israel, their own responsibility. Let's take a look at the situation on the ground. After Israel isolated Gaza City in the north, the largest city in the Gaza Strip, its troops have now been pushing south. That means south of that white line, Wadi Gaza there. Along the Strip's main artery, which is, we've been telling you, Salah al-Din Road. That is the main axis that goes north to south along with the coastal road, but we'll get back to that. We have reports that there's been fighting all the way down here in Al-Qarara, so it's just a few kilometers away from the heart of Khan Younis. While Israel is telling Palestinians in Khan Younis to move further south towards Rafah. Now, that's along the border. You see it there, along the border with Egypt. Israel has also been shelling the main roads leading to that area. One of the few remaining options to travel between Gaza's north and south is on the coastal road. So back to that, Al-Rashid Road. But Israeli military vessels along the Mediterranean coastline have a direct line of fire over this road, and they have been shooting at vehicles traveling along Al-Rashid Road, the coastal road. All right, let's talk about all of this. Let's bring in Omar Ashur. Thank you very much for being with us. Omar is professor of security and military studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. He's been breaking down the military aspects of all of this over the last few days. As you look at this, Omar, and as you take in all these little bits of information, the zones where Israel is operating, the information, or rather the warnings that Israel has been sending to Palestinians, what is the bigger picture that is building for you?
Well, the bigger picture, well, we go strategic, operational, and tactical.
Okay.
Strategic, basically, they are trying to send a message, probably to the U.S. Primarily, that they are trying to reduce civilian casualties, so allow us to continue that operation for, they claimed, I think, 2 months, but I think it will be a lot longer than that if that's the pace. And I'll tell you why in a second.
As far as you're concerned, messaging and signaling that is also for the international community, specifically for the U.S. When they're dropping those leaflets saying, leave these areas because we're going to start shelling here, they're talking to Palestinians, but they're also talking to the U.S.
Primarily to the U.S. because I don't think it's going to work. We are talking about a population density in the south that almost doubled. It was, before the war, it was 6,500 per square kilometer. Now we're talking about almost over 13,000 per square kilometer. So anywhere you're going to bomb, you're probably going to hit significant numbers of Palestinian civilians.
Well, we should remind our viewers, this length here, it's 40 kilometers. Just because we always say how densely populated this is. This is 40 kilometers by 10.
Yeah. So the whole Gaza Strip is 370 square kilometers. So it's the size of the city of Kharkiv in Ukraine. So it's not a big place at all. So strategically, I think we are trying to reduce civilian casualties. So don't pressure us diplomatically to end or have a pause or have a ceasefire. Let us continue this. Operationally, you know, Hamas so they want to go approach the south. Fair enough, but in the north, I don't think Hamas command and control structure is destroyed. We saw the release of hostages from the north as well as from the south. We also saw, it seems to me, that the ground lines of communications were not completely destroyed. And just today...
Is that, you mean the ability for Hamas to move from the southern part of the Strip to the northern part back and forth?
Yeah, absolutely. To move, not just to move in terms of men or fighters or hostages, but also weapons, ammunition, food, fuel, etc. So, but also the interesting bit, and this is on the tactical level, today I saw now an announcement that there has been an attack again in Beit Hanun. So we're talking about, you know, the northern
back in the northern part of the Strip.
Yeah, back in the northern part. And previously there was an attack in Beit Lahia. So both the north center, the far north center and the far north, is there are operations there, which tells me that it does not, the Hamas units there were not really destroyed. But the interesting bit there is, at least according to the Qassam battalions, I don't know why they translate it always to brigades, but they said Kata'ib al-Qassam, which is battalions, and their size even is smaller than battalions. But also they claim that they used a TPG shell, a rocket. The TPG is a thermobaric, so this is incendiary rockets.
Wait, you're losing me.
So, okay, so they have the Al Yassin 105. This is a modification of an RPG 29. It's two tandem. So if you have a tank with a reactive armor, it deals with the reactive armor. It explodes on two levels. So first, the smaller round destroys the reactive armor. The second bigger round, the 105, destroys the armor of the actual tank. So the tanks usually have a reactive armor to stop that. So if they're using it now, so it means it tells me that they have more ammunition, more qualitative ammunition that they did not use yet. So now we're at a thermobaric ammunition level in the north.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that they still have more ammunition in terms of, and qualitative ones. So the Israelis did not complete their mission in the north, and I don't think they are closer anywhere to destruction of Qassam battalions in the north, which says that, you know, if they did not do this in the north 58 days later, after 1,200 airstrikes, so you can imagine the amount of air sorties for 1,200 airstrikes, and hundreds of tons of explosive that were, you know, was on Gaza, and with this level of destruction, and they're still fighting in the far north, where they initially, the main axis of advance was there. So if that's the case, so what about the south, which is going to be, it's bigger, as you see geographically, probably more dense in terms of, not probably, for sure, more dense in terms of the population.
Well, because by now, a large part of the population that was in the north has moved to the south.
So according to the UN, 1,700,000 IDPs.
Okay. All right, we're going to have to end it here because we have a lot to get in the show this hour. But thank you very much. And we hear what you're saying, both on a strategic level in terms of the messaging when the Israelis are telling Palestinians to leave these yellow areas here, that it's aimed, you say, not just at Palestinians, but also at the international community, specifically their backer, the U.S. Also what you're saying, that Hamas still very much active and able to bring weapons into the battle zone in the north of the Gaza Strip. Thank you very much for making sense of this map, telling us what's happening right now. Omar, sure, we'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much.